And now to a story about the security firm Thompson and Clark, the Department of Conservation, and the two organisations' incredibly close relationship when it comes to the Official Information Act. DOC uses Thompson and Clark to monitor and spy on 1080 protesters. We revealed last month the secret chat channels in the app Slack that Thompson and Clark used to communicate with DOC and several other government agencies. But DOC refused to release under the Official Information Act any documents sent through or any of the correspondence that took place in those secret chat channels. We complained to the Ombudsman here at Checkpoint, who is investigating. But now we can reveal, thanks to internal emails, that DOC was planning on releasing the information, but it changed its mind after Thompson and Clark Director Gavin Clark intervened and demanded it all be withheld. Zach Fleming has more.
The Department of Conservation uses security firm Thompson and Clark to spy on anti-1080 protesters. Information is shared through what Thompson and Clark calls its Fusion Centre, locked hidden chat rooms on a messaging app called Slack. Here's what the Department of Conservation said internally when I asked for its correspondence with Thompson and Clark.
Some, if not all, of the material in the Slack channel may need to be released under the OIA.
And here's what DOC ultimately released. Nothing. DOC didn't release anything from its Slack channels. No correspondence, no documents. Something changed drastically between that March 20 email from DOC's Director of Safety, Harry Ma.
Some, if not all, of the material in the Slack channel may need to be released under the OIA.
And exactly 1 month later, when DOC responded to my Official Information Act request without even mentioning Slack, let alone releasing material from it. Checkpoint complained to the Ombudsman, who is investigating, but thanks to internal emails, we now have an insight into what prompted DOC's turnaround. What changed, we've learned through reading these hundreds of emails, is that Thompson and Clark Director Gavin Clark demanded everything provided to DOC through Slack be withheld. He warned DOC that if that didn't happen, Thompson and Clark would probably stop providing its services. He then outlined parts of the law that DOC could use to withhold the information in full. And then DOC used his reasonings to withhold the information in full. In summary, DOC did exactly what Thompson and Clark wanted. Just over a month ago, the Ombudsman launched an investigation into DOC and whether it properly follows the Official Information Act. That's still ongoing, but Wellington lawyer and OIA advocate Graham Edgeler believes in this instance, by failing to even mention the existence of Slack, DOC hasn't.
Maybe they need to withhold almost everything that is shared on the Slack channel. I suspect that's not the case, but even if it is, they should be telling you it exists, and that's the big concern here.
What appears concerning too is the way the Department of Conservation leaned on Thompson and Clark in its decision-making. A private security firm whose bills have been paid by the taxpayer and whose spying has been deemed unacceptable by both former Prime Minister Helen Clark and current Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern. In this instance with DOC, what Gavin Clark asked to be withheld was withheld. While Checkpoint received the OIA late, Gavin Clark received it on deadline, 3 days before us. DOC wasn't being as transparent as possible either. In one email, an employee asked,
"Let me know if you'd like to change the presentation. Perhaps hide the raw analysis."
And DOC failed to mention that a senior staffer who had extensive communications with Thompson and Clark lost all of his emails from 2017. We wanted to ask DOC about these things and other emails, which together could be interpreted as DOC withholding information at the request of Thompson and Clark. But nobody from DOC would be interviewed. Its communications team instead issued a very short statement saying that DOC carefully considered what to release under the Official Information Act and didn't want to comment while the Ombudsman is investigating. For Checkpoint, Zach Fleming.
And the Thompson and Clark Director Gavin Clark also declined to be interviewed. Checkpoint tried to talk to him in person, but Thompson and Clark isn't actually located at the company's listed address.